Public speaking can be overwhelming, but with the right approach anything is possible. From storytelling and comedy to being able to deviate from a planned speech or follow it word for word, different strategies work for different people. In order to stand out, you will need to see which approach works best for you and tailor it to your message. The following 6 speakers have succeeded with simple strategies that they have adjusted to be the most effective for their individual purposes. Which one works for you? Michelle, the First Lady of Public Speaking. Michelle Obama became a public speaking icon when she gave her first national speech at the 2008 Democratic National Convention. She entered the stage at a time when an NBC News/Wall Street Journal poll showed that only 38% of respondents viewed her favorably. Overnight, the poll climbed 18% and she continues to enjoy high approval ratings today. One reason the American people are so favorable towards the First Lady is because of how she connects with them through her speeches. When Michelle gives a speech, she weaves it using one of the most powerful assets available to public speakers, storytelling. Her speeches use a foundation of her past personal struggles to connect with challenges currently facing the nation. Most recently, at the 2016 DNC, she told the story of her family's time at the White House through her daughter's perspective. This insight into her family's life is intimate and emotional, creating a perfect atmosphere for starting a conversation with the American people. As a storyteller, a speaker is able to use emotions to connect with an audience and appear relatable. Tracy Kidder, an American writer and Pulitzer Prize winner, once said, "All stories are local, all good stories are universal." Through a story, unity can be achieved. A Harvard study showed that warmth is necessary to connect with an audience, not just competence, and storytelling is an easy way to accomplish both. Many successful public speakers utilize storytelling, and Michelle Obama is the perfect figurehead for this form of public speaking. Stephen Colbert, the comedic communicator. For 9 years, Stephen Colbert served political satire on a silver platter on The Colbert Report, playing an ultra-conservative character by the same name. Through jokes, rants, and simple graphics, he succeeds in connecting with his audience and informing them about a subject which is generally viewed as dull and boring. One running gag in particular about super PACs that resulted in Colbert creating one and operating it actually ended up educating the public about campaign finance, a feat no other news agency was willing to tackle. Now, as host of The Late Show on CBS, Colbert is catering to a wider crowd, but maintaining his success. A major part of his success as a TV host as well as a public speaker is his ability to simplify complex matters while remaining informative. Then he takes it a step further by adding humor. Some of the tools that help him pull this off are known as sharps, stories, humor, analogies, references, and quotes, pictures and visuals. These tools make it easy to convey complex subjects in a way that is simple and enjoyable for your audience to understand. If you think that applying comedy to your own presentation is appropriate, make sure you start with a laugh. A quick laugh at the start will help your audience be comfortable. Also, don't be afraid to be a little self-deprecating, especially if you intend to make fun of someone else. Just be careful you don't overload your presentation with too many jokes. You still want to make sure that your serious information gets the spotlight, not your humor. Also, be sure to use some sharps. Tell a funny personal story that is relevant to your presentation or use a comical picture that gets your point across as well as lightens the mood a bit. Milk Jr., the repetitive reverend. One can hardly think of Martin Luther King Jr. without hearing the echoes of "I have a dream" in your head, but there's a reason his words have stayed with us this long, and it's not just because of the message they carry. Milk is one of the best public speakers in people's memory and perhaps of all time. He inspired millions during his lifetime and continues to into the modern day. This is all thanks to his excellence as a public speaker. Milk's "I Have a Dream" speech is so memorable because its delivery is well balanced. One remarkable attribute of Milk's speech is the cadence with which he spoke. Many know its passionate, fast-paced ending, but when watched from the beginning, you can appreciate the slow and familiar tone that Milk starts with. He only picks up his pacing and volume after he has entered a conversation with his audience. His timing came from practice. The iconic speech was improvised after the beginning, but it was not necessarily new to Milk. He had delivered versions of the speech months and even years previous to the March on Washington in 1963. Each experience helped him identify which parts worked and which did not, leading to his successful performance on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. Adding to its effectiveness was his use of repetition and word choice. While his speech began with high energy and unpleasant words to make his audience emotional about his message, he ended with positive and empowering verses that inspired hope. By repeating phrases over and over, his message was memorable and easy to pass on. Milk's balance of cadence, practice, repetition, and word choice helped him lead a powerful and peaceful movement through his public speaking skills. These skills can help you empower your own presentations. Churchill, the prepared English bulldog. He was the stout, stone-faced leader of Great Britain during World War II, an awardee of the Nobel Prize in Literature and a man who spoke with a lisp. Many would doubt that a person with a speech impediment could become a great public speaker, but in Churchill's case, his lisp became a feature of his speeches, making his radio broadcasts, like his speech The Finest Hour, unique and familiar. In 1897, Churchill visited Sir Felix Seaman, a specialist in speech problems, who told him practice and perseverance are alone necessary to overcome his lisp. He is also alleged to have commented, "I have just seen the most extraordinary young man I have ever met." And extraordinary he was. While he never fully overcame his lisp and eventually made an effort to keep it, Churchill became an accomplished leader. He inspired people in a time of hardship, and he did so through his speeches. Churchill wrote all of his speeches himself, often spending 6 to 8 hours crafting a speech that would only be 40 minutes long. His content was crafted to have a sense of spontaneity despite being thoroughly planned. He went as far as to write in stage directions, fitting in pauses where he would hesitate to search for the right word or purposefully stumble and correct himself. He made public speaking a performance, and his skills were so seamless no one knew it was all planned. He was confident in his abilities and decisions, once saying, "History will be kind to me, for I intend to write it." Through intensive planning and practice, even the most difficult situations in public speaking can be overcome. By carefully selecting words that will have an impact on your audience and writing in pauses for yourself and even certain gestures into your speech, you can give it a unique edge. By being prepared, you will already be one step ahead of your audience and in the right mindset to lead with your message.